Conversation, as I mentioned earlier, I want to discuss the protest aftermath. So much was seen, so much happened, and so much has been said ever since. And joining me for this particular discussion is Makueni Senator Dan Manzo. Good evening, and thank you so much for making time.
Good evening.
We're equally expecting Beatrice Elachi, who's the Member of Parliament, Dagoretti North. But even as we wait for her, we can start this conversation. And Senator, before we even get to the nitty-gritties, I want us to listen to what the Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen said.
Meambia polisi, mtu yoyote mwenye atakaribia police station, piga yeye risasi. Mtu yoyote mwenye anatupiwa mawe, polisi anataka kuua polisi, ati atakuja kubembelezwa. Wanafikiria bunduki ni mandasi.
Tumesikia hata leo nimetangazia kila mtu kwa Kenya. Sio ati ni siri tena. Nimesema askari mwenye atasumbuliwa ati anapelekwa kotini kwa sababu alitumia bunduki kujichunga, ama kuchunga police station, ama kuchunga bunge, ama kuchunga government office kotini, ama wapi, mtu akijaribu kwanza hawezi, because hatuta cooperate.
I cannot order an Inspector General of Police on anything because the Constitution denies me to do so. And I did not order an Inspector General or any police officer to carry out any extrajudicial anywhere. Your Excellency, what I did was to state the law. And as a lawyer, I have studied, read this law, and I understand what the law says. And what I told the police officers is, if you will not find me anywhere where I said somebody should be shot to be killed, you will not find me anywhere where I said that a police officer should take orders from myself. No. I restated the law and reminded them what the law says.
All right, Senator. So these utterances have ignited a wave of public outrage. Let's begin with your reaction.
Yeah, first and foremost, it is clear that the CS was careless in his wording, that anyone going near a police station, maybe during protests, should be shot. And this actually happened in Matu, in Machakos County, and also in quite a number of parts of the country. In Matu, the demonstrators were just bypassing a police station, and the police officer got excited and sprayed bullets, and two or three people were killed and others injured. In Mali, somebody who was the usual Subaru, and somebody was plain clothed, and he came out and provoked the peaceful demonstrators and shot 3 people dead. 2 were identified immediately, 1 was identified the next day, and these are young people. In fact, they thought the peaceful demonstrations are over, and that's how they come out only to meet death. So that carelessness, and especially where we have evidence, then the police officer should be taken to court. And in fact, just like the case of the young man who was selling masks in town, you saw the police officer first assaults him, goes back, then goes again. That is called malice aforethought. And that person is actually as planned to kill the other person. If ordinarily you are supposed to maim if somebody has become dangerous, but you cannot spray bullets to people who have only phone, the flag of Kenya, and water. You only use the gun if somebody else has a gun. So I think the minister has gone overboard. The Ministry of Interior, one of the best experiences was during the time of the late Honorable Gaiseri, and God rest his soul in eternal peace. He was himself a military man. He understood what security means, and he understood, you never hear much from the ministers in charge of Interior. And you are dealing with the security of the country. You are dealing with people who have guns. You are dealing with people also who have been stressed up, and their mental capacity has not been assessed. And then you give them guns to go and fight with the citizens is the most unfortunate. Ordinarily, if a demonstration stops being peaceful, the law provides that an officer in the level of an OCS or inspector makes a proclamation and gives people enough time to clear and go. So there is nowhere in the law it says you shoot anyone who goes. People go to a police station to look for, refuge. And that's what it should remain. And I'll urge the officers not to listen to their minister, because if they try to do what he said, although he tried to justify.
Yeah, he said he was misunderstood.
No. His words were very clear, and you can hear the crowd responding to him and telling him one term, disagree with him. If he was, doing the right thing, the crowd would have cheered him, not the way the crowd reacted. Kenyans also know the law. And that unless it is a misadventure, total accident, really, you cannot shoot somebody who is defenseless, armless, like in the case of Mali. One young man, after he saw one was shot, he knelt down and lifted his hands and he was still shot. So we really want the IPOA to investigate all these cases and bring to book officers who misused arms or killed people or injured people.
All right. And all this, Senator, is unfolding against the backdrop of growing distrust between law enforcers and ordinary citizens. From where you sit, do you think such comments are fueling this anger and the distrust that Kenyans are feeling, or is it helping in mending this trust?
I want to say quite a number of members of parliament who support the government have been very excited, and I've not read the mood of the people. They have made statements which show pride. They have made statements which show that they don't care. They have made statements which annoy the people. That has happened with the leaders of majority of both houses. And it has also happened with a number of members of parliament and even the Senate. And I think it is a high time leaders knew that they are servants of the people under the new constitution. There's no way a leader will show, disrespect to the people. The people have elected them with a lot of trust, and I think they must really watch their mouths, because the tongue can, spur, discontent and disharmony. And I think whatever mistakes are made, somebody should apologize. The Honorable Murkomen should be apologizing, not try to justify. There's nothing wrong with saying you are sorry. The words, just came out, or you are excited at that particular moment. It's better first to acknowledge, accept, then apologize, and people will understand. But try to justify the obvious, I don't think it is right.
No, Senator, you've just said that this is not just him. These utterances have been made by leaders from various quarters, and we've seen this since Thursday after the protest. Is it that leaders are oblivious to the suffering of Kenyans? Are we not really looking at the key issues that the young Kenyans are really fighting for? Are we that oblivious?
I want to say that there's a very serious disconnect between Parliament and the people, or between government and the people. There's been a serious misunderstanding. You have seen the kidnappings. In fact, kidnapping is criminal. And you saw the young man who was kidnapped in Mombasa, Chesoni, explaining his ordeal, and even that there was a lady calling and giving instructions and telling them to go back and collect his phone. And they said, the people will be very upset with us. The kidnappers are also cowards. They don't like to kidnap you where there are crowds. They know they are doing the wrong thing. It is criminal what they are doing. The killings are criminal and should be treated as such. And therefore, we are not surprised that the other day, when there were demonstrations of the late Albert Ojwang, we saw people with rungus working with the police, and the police not having a quarrel with them. In these particular demonstrations, we have seen people, on camera, burning vehicles, with a lot of confidence. I mean, no one, just a normal person, goes to a police station and burns vehicles which are parked there, some of them which may have been apprehended as evidence in court. And that sort of courage, the government must explain to us. I followed keenly what the director of CID said today, and it was with a lot of, you cannot believe him at all. We know there have been kidnappings, he has not explained them. And even when he came to court, he denied. The kidnappings are real, kidnappers are there, and he must tell us whether it's a special squad or they are his officers. We know who used the Subarus. And that's why at times citizens have been very agitated unless officers identify themselves positively. Sometimes they get into trouble with the people. And we want a country which is harmonious, where the rule of law is respected and where demonstrations which are in the Constitution can be allowed and they be peaceful. A lot of times it is the police who provoke the peaceful wananchi, and then the wananchi react and many other bad things happen. So we must, all of us, follow the law. And I have heard accusations that the demonstrators were to try to overthrow the government. I want to say that the current constitution ring-fences the government very firmly, and no one has authority to suspend the constitution other than the people themselves. And in the process of that, they will be bringing even a better constitution. So even if the president was not able to perform his duties, the deputy will, and if both of them are not able, the speaker will. And in a situation like now, we don't have a proper IBC. The speaker will hold office as a head of state up to the time there is IBC and another president is elected. So there's no gap in our constitution. There is not even a possibility of a coup d'etat in Kenya. Not even the people can do it. So that imagination was neither here nor there. And that's why a lot of Kenyans are suspecting the so-called goons. We must be told who is the owner. And,
no one has been arrested, actually, in terms of goons. We don't have any cases or reports of those goons who are seem to be working in cahoots with police have been arrested. Even those who are looting, not just last Wednesday, but even the previous protests.
I saw the police say they have arrested 485.
Yes.
But we want to see the people we saw in Olkalau burning cars. I believe those people are government agents. We want to see most of the goons.
Do you have proof?
Well, I'm saying I believe.
Okay.
Could be. It is suspected, because who will have the courage to go to a police station and burn down cars, and you are videoed for about 30 minutes, and even some people can identify who you are, and up to now, we have not seen these people. We want to see who have they arrested. We want to know from where and what they did. It is true that some criminals may have gone on and even taken guns and used them for robberies, but largely the government should be able to tell us who are these infiltrators wielding rungus, beating up people in front of the police and assisting the police, and yet we are not seeing arrests. We really must know that. And on the same breath, they went on even to accuse some of us that we funded a maandamano. I was mentioned in Parliament, and that's something I don't believe in. People of Makueni know that I don't do such a thing, and even Kenyans know. And I really want to challenge the Honorable Junet Mohammed for his utterances on the floor of the House. And in fact, because they were made against the law, ordinarily, without a substantive motion, you cannot debate people's character or accuse them. Therefore, by that, the law was not being followed, and therefore it creates a basis. Unless he apologizes, I should be able to sue him so that he can give the country the correct perspective or table the evidence that I ever transported anyone.
Okay.
So I don't do that sort of thing. I don't believe in it. But we suspect some people in government may have sponsored goons so that the Gen Zs and the demonstrators could look bad. And clearly, the Gen Z's protests were infiltrated.
All right. I want us to talk about the police conduct. I mean, we saw the IPOA chair recently say that police officers are not collaborating with the investigations, saying that stonewalling its efforts to oversight police conduct in general. They equally decry the fact that they are not well facilitated in terms of budget, not forgetting that they claim that they're understaffed. Is IPOA being set up for failure?
Well, I think it is important, and previously the international community used to support IPOA. You see, if the IPOA is being supported by the executive, who also include the police, then it means that they may not be able to perform well. So it is true, IPOA should be strengthened. It should have independent investigators. It should have, its force should increase, because you see the incidences are very many, and the few investigators they have, they are overloaded, they are really overworking. So it is true there are weaknesses in IPOA, but I believe they are doing their level best. They went to Makueni. They have been helping out the families in Makueni. And ordinarily, the police becomes very difficult when IPOA is trying to do its work. I know it becomes very difficult to conduct postmortems, and you know it is in postmortem you are likely to find out, the evidence. And also when bullets have been used, like the inquest of Rex Masai, a ballistic expert who you will ordinarily find in the police will have to come and try to match the bullet from a gun and from a source. And you have seen the denials and the lack of preparedness the police have when it comes to that particular inquest of Rex Masai. So it is true IPOA should get more teeth so that it can be able to bite.
How does it get more teeth? That's the question.
The best way to help IPOA, first of all, is to improve their budget locally, and also international organizations which deal with justice.
What about the rogue police officers that are frustrating these investigations?
You see, police officers help fellow police officers. If it is retrieving of the CCTVs, it's going to be done by police experts. So if they don't give IPOA that evidence, then IPOA will have difficulties. And therefore, IPOA itself should have enough officers to be able to follow up and enough experts to be able to assist them, ballistic experts, CCTV experts, IT experts, investigators, so that when they do their prosecution, they are solid. I know they are also assisted by the office of the DPP. But you see cases, they win or fail based on evidence.
Okay. I understand we have a caller who's calling from Nyakach, Kisumu. His name is John Odundo. Good evening, John. What is your contribution this evening? John, I hope you can hear me. What is your contribution?
Yes, my contribution is about the ongoing debate.
Yes, please. Please proceed.
Yes, my contribution is that in the present arrangement,
Yes.
Yes, IPOA is actually quite disadvantaged to do anything meaningful.
Yes, please. All right, we're trying to sort what it seems to be a problem with getting clearly what John Odundo is saying. We'll be getting back to him shortly. But even as we wait for this to be fixed, Senator, initially you had said that there is a disconnect between the government and the people. How do we bridge that, considering this is the same government that has had an entire year to correct its wrongdoings? We've been seeing protests since last year, and Kenyans were agitating for a few things: transparency, accountability, good governance, you name it. 1 year later, nothing has been done. How do we bridge that gap?
Yeah, you know, one of the best ways to check the government is through elections. And as much as one is agitated, the Constitution provides for elections after every 5 years. So I really want to urge the young people who really want their country to become better, first of all, to participate in nation building by getting registered as Kenyans, to have an ID. And then when it comes to registration of voters, they register as voters. And then when it comes to voting, remember last time 8 million Kenyans did not vote. Everyone should really do the country honor of going to vote. And then on top of that, protect the vote. There are many ways of protecting the vote nowadays using technology, and make sure that the country gets good leadership. We are as good as our leaders. So you know the leaders are a reflection of the society. And I know many young people, they want the law to be followed. You know, for example, the law allows priority on the roads to the president, ambulance, or fire engine. So nowadays, everybody else wants to have priority. And we have seen the young people blocking them and telling them, queue like us on the traffic. Don't cause more mayhem, because there's a lot of misconduct. Even if you find people queuing in a hospital or in a bank, if you try to overtake them, the agencies or Kenyans of good order will put you into order, wherever you are. And that order is what the country wants. We want a country without corruption. We want a country where there are equal opportunities. Most of the tenders in this country, and even job opportunities, even if they are advertised, the people to be hired are already known. And it's an exercise in futility. You know, even to get into police, to get into the army, to get into, you know, even KWS and all these forests, it's very difficult for a common Kenyan. And the reason why a lot of young people are upset, and I have an example from Makueni. Somebody was asked for $500,000 shillings, and they were assured you'll be, you know, you'll go to the police. And you know, this is somebody who has worked very hard. The family is poor. He's a graduate, but since they can't get a job, they want to go and serve as a policeman. And therefore, the day of the exercise, they are told, no, you have no chance. The money has increased. They try to complain, and you know that family had sold their piece of land. And then they were taken around in circles, and they were told, you also participated in corruption, you have no basis. You know, that frustrates young people, because you thought you had hope. But the best thing, even for any young person, do it right, but the country must also make sure everyone has equal opportunity. That's one of the reasons you are finding people very dissatisfied, and they want change, and they are going for it by all means.
All right. So let's talk about compensation. Lately, we've been hearing, you know, calls for accountability, transparency, and compensation, especially for the victims of police brutality and protest in general. Talk to Abbas about this push for justice. In an ideal situation and in a legislative, perhaps looking at it from a legislative point of view, what needs to be done to ensure that compensation is done timely and equally fairly?
Yeah, you know, this is called this restoration. You know, you got to give justice to victims. And it's a very big process. It's a long process. First of all, for those who are killed or injured or maimed, you may have an inquest, and you have seen how the inquests look like cover-ups with the one for Rex Masai. And therefore, that's why leaders of the loyal opposition have come up with some commission, a people's-led commission, and I was surprised. I was appointed as one of the commissioners. And in this, what happens is you collect evidence. Somebody at least must hear and document these stories. The media has been doing a great job. And when they are recorded, then, you know, we can be able to take some to the DPP where the evidence is overwhelming, and the DPP may do prosecution. You may also do private prosecution. And you can also use the same information you have collected and the statistics to do a big constitutional case seeking compensation for the victims, having been positively identified and all the necessary evidence prepared so that the constitutional case could be strong. And there are many articles of the Constitution which allow that. So that's the effort we are making to make sure that these stories are heard publicly and that these people are assisted to be able to look for justice. Up to now, there are very many families with disappeared children. No one knows where they are. Of course, we know they are in the hands of the authorities, or the authorities took them. The authorities have denied. No one else in this country have a capacity, to snatch and torture people. It's actually extrajudicial. It is also criminal. And if the state is perpetrating such, then it is most unfortunate. But the DPP has a power also to take over the private prosecutions and either prosecute or terminate them. And those are the things we want to go around to make sure justice is found.
Allow me to cut you short, Senator. I understand Jack Ocheng from Kisumu is now calling. Jack, good evening. What is your contribution? Jack, can you hear me?
Okay, good evening.
Yes.
Yes, I'm very happy with the discussion going on. Kenyans are not happy.
Yes.
Kenyans are not happy. Most of the time, if you are watching the news, people are really crying. The government should bring hope. Kenyans are losing hope, and the government should see that and bring back hope to Kenyans. Most of the time, they should do the right thing, not doing the wrong thing and denying. And we hope in future God will open ways.
All right. Thank you, Jeko Cheng from Kisumu there. Just, echoing some of these issues that Kenyans are talking about. Kenyans seem to be dissatisfied with how the government is operating, Senator. And, there are already talks of protests come Monday, that is Sabasaba. Perhaps going forward, how should we as a country deal with protests?
First and foremost, the government should allow protesters without disturbing them, without shooting them, and they should take care of the property. They have the capacity to do so. Unfortunately, the latest catch has been, to disrupt with the tear gas or live bullets. And I've been in a situation where I have seen that, one time we went to Nyeri with the senator for Kiambu, and he was to appear before the police, and after we were given an appointment to come back to Kiambu DCI headquarters, the crowds were excited in Nyeri town, and we had a brief stopover. But the police came to disrupt, and the people were very annoyed, and it was a very bad, it got a bit rough, and you could even hear some shooting, and it was totally unnecessary.
Yeah.
And the people are no longer now afraid of tear gas or guns, because they know their rights, and if you know you are innocent, no one should really shoot you. And I think the police need to go back to the drawing board. A lot of times they are getting orders from above. I think police are independent, and if police are allowed to do their work, I'm sure they will do it publicly. Police should not help politicians to do politics. Politicians should do their thing, and the police do their thing, and all of us have a duty to protect Kenya. So if Sabasaba is coming and the people have decided to demonstrate, so long as no one goes beyond the law, and if they go beyond the law, there has to be a proclamation, and you can see who is trying to loot. Police should deal with the looters and leave the peaceful demonstrators alone.
All right, Senator, even as you just wind up and give your closing remarks, talk to us about this. The Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, just said that, it is time, this time now, the government will address the concerns raised by Gen Z. Is it too little, too late? Is it still salvageable?
As you have heard the caller say, people have lost faith, they have lost hope, they have been told a lot of things, and nothing has been done. If anything, it is the opposite. So I hope Professor Kindiki, I know very well, but he's finding himself in very turbulent times, means well, and together with the whole cabinet and the president, should really sit down and deliberate this matter. And that's what their departure point with former Speaker Muturi, because he wanted the issue of abductions addressed by cabinet. And that never happened. So I hope Kindiki will do something. As you've heard, Kenyans need hope. And that's why not everybody joined the broad-based government, because what people expected is not what happened in reorganizing it. I am very pleased that Raila Odinga and his party gave a few experts to be able to hold this country to 2027, where elections can be conducted, because everything now was helter-skelter, and the people were beginning to take charge of their country as it is required by the law. So as much as there is those few experts have brought a little bit of certainty, we need experts, running the government, and people who are qualified. As a member of parliament, when I listen to some of the senior government officers, PSS and even the cabinet secretaries, when they appear before the committee, some have no idea what they should be doing. President Kibaki used to promote people who've been working, in the system and who understand it to become PSS. Somebody will begin as a DO, become a DC, become an undersecretary, and then finally become a PS, and you'll find they know what to do. But nowadays, we have a lot of people in government doing the wrong things, and the Kenyans are watching, and they're intelligent, they're brilliant. They can know when the government is wrong. So I believe the government should put its thing right. It begins from the very top, and most important, not to tell lies. Whatever you say, then you implement. Don't say something, then the next day make empty promises. Major projects which have started, underfund them, and you know very well you won't complete them. Really, the country is slowing down, but we want to give hope to Kenyans that the people's loyal opposition and their leaders will do our level best to give a country a better government in the next election. And I want to assure Kenyans that's the only way to form the government constitutionally. There is no other way. Our constitution is very good, it's only that the current government is not following it.
But those allied to the government are saying that opposition don't really have a plan, Senator. What is the plan?
I've heard comments even by President himself that he won't hand over power. And I can assure you the current opposition are people who are very experienced in government, probably better than the current team. And they know what to do and what to correct and how to give Kenyans hope. That's why not all of us joined the broad-based government, so that we can have alternative leadership. And we're looking forward into the opposition team. Opposition is government in waiting, forming a better government and making a difference and making sure that Kenyans have hope, the country prospers, and those who have looted the country, and those who have been, committing acts of killing people are brought to book.
All right, that's a really good place to end this conversation. Thank you, Senator Makueni Dan Manzo, and thank you for being part of the broadcast and for contributing as well. I'm Ashley Mazuri, our sign language interpreter, Maresha Witi. Have a good night.